Gosh, I'm so depressed. It's raining outside and I'm confined in the house and can't go out. The kids are at home. Can't go shopping, can't take the kids outside to anywhere. Everything's closed. Oh gosh, what a depressing year. It's just been so much fun this year. We've seen the kids more than any other year before. You know, we've had them at home. We've really enjoyed our time with them, and especially now that we can't go out. You know, we've planned every day. We watch a Christmas movie. We play games, board games. We haven't even gone on holiday so that we can just stay at home and do a staycation. It's just so much fun. Hey everyone, this is Doreen Hirji, NLP life coach and mediator. And in this video, I'd like to talk to you about the power of perspective and how important it is for us. How you see things in life is pretty important, and everybody sees things in life in different ways, according to their experiences, according to their lives, which really shapes their mindset in a way. I think the way we perceive things can really change our lives. It can make or break our lives. It's definitely easier said than done, but once you apply that, it brings a real change in your life. So what is perspective? Perspective is the way we perceive things, the way we see things, the way we take things. Life always throws a bunch of challenges and things that can come against you. The question is, in a given situation, what are we going to do? How are we going to choose to take it? From which angle are we choosing to look at the story? What does it actually mean when people say to us, look at the glass half full, not half empty? In any given situation, it's a very specific choice that we're making. It's when life tears you up and breaks you down that you can really and truly use the power of perspective in the most effective way. Perspective is a very powerful tool that enables you to change the way that you live your life. You either say that this is how I'm always going to be, this is how life's always going to end up for me, I'm never gonna overcome this, I'll never defeat this. Or you choose to apply some perspective, and that's what it's all about. It's actually not our circumstances that have the power to control us or define us. Our circumstances really have no actual power to define anything about us or to shape us. It's how we choose to respond, how we choose to act, how we choose to interpret what happens to us, that is what shapes us. It's the only thing that has the power to define who we are. The way we respond to good things or bad things in our lives is what can help us live in a way that we choose hope, light, joy, and gratefulness. Choosing the positive perspective is very powerful, but choosing the positive perspective is not always easy. We all know this is true. It's not. And the sooner that we can actually acknowledge that yes, life is hard sometimes. We've all gotten older. By this time in our lives, we've all experienced probably a lot of disappointment, a lot of hurt, maybe betrayal, maybe a lot of loss, some sort of suffering. I think we could all agree that we have seen some of these happen in our life. And this is reality. It's reality. And so the sooner that we can stop denying that this is the reality and accept it, the sooner we can actually start to lean into what we can do about it. It's not about trying to deny that something is broken. We live in a world of wars, pain, hate crimes, all sorts. But really, it's just about trying to focus on what you can do about it. Mourn the pain. Don't try to silence it. being positive doesn't mean you have to be up here happy all the time, because life isn't always about what we want it to be. And the sooner that we can acknowledge that, the sooner we can actually do something to fix it. And at the end of the day, it's all about the little things, the little instances that have happened in our lives that shape who we are. All these things that adds up and shape our future self. And this is the self that we have the power to create right now. Who we are today is because of the lessons that we learned from our past, whether it's pain or celebrations. And what we have the control to create is what happens tomorrow in the future version of ourselves. It's fascinating to think that how we choose to interpret what happens to us and the perspective that we choose is ultimately what defines us. It's just so very life-changing. It's just another realization as well that it is my responsibility to choose this perspective. It's on me to choose this perspective. And choosing hope, gratefulness, joy is free and it's available to everyone. Just imagine if we all shifted our narrative. What could we do as a collective unit to choose hope and positivity? To choose hope, what could we do and achieve? What change can we all create together? Starting with us. Small steps make big changes. And guess who's going to ultimately benefit from applying the positive perspective? Ourselves. Ourselves. And then everyone else. It puts us straight away in a positive state, in a good state. But how can we get a positive perspective? How can we get the right perspective when we're going through a challenging time right now? You get perspective sometimes when you start talking to the right people with the right mindset. And having someone's perspective often helps you look at things in different ways and empowers you and help you to grow. Talk to people who have your best interest at heart. Talk to people who know, who are experts in this. Just think of all the situations you've been in and what these could have been if you just applied the power perspective. How very different things would have panned out potentially for you. It's not an easy thing to achieve perspective, but it is crucial to start the process. You know what's great about this? You can apply it in any context. In a business context, while making a deal or negotiating, in a marriage, or in any partnership or relationship. One example I'd really like to share with you today that really sums up this power perspective can have on someone's life, and that's the life of Malala Yousafzai. Malala was a very young, determined girl who decided that she wants to fight for the rights of education for girls in her country and all over the world. And she even won a Nobel Prize at the age of 15. She was one person who really took perspective to a completely different level. Malala was attacked by two gunmen on her way to school. She was in a school bus. And that incident, she calls it the biggest mistake they made because they were trying to stop her from propagating her message. They tried to, put fear in her. But what that incident actually did to her, and she says that, she describes this as the moment her life changed, that from that point onward, she didn't fear anything anymore. She knew exactly what she had to do. In fact, it gave her even more determination to carry out her mission. Now, anyone who's in that sort of situation, who gets shot, would really find it difficult to bounce back. There's the re-education, there's, all the trauma that comes with it. But Malala completely changed. Even the doctors, they call it a miracle the way that she completely recovered, the determination with which she, got better. In fact, the doctor said that when she was going through certain lumbar puncture, she didn't even squeeze the doctor's hand, or she didn't even squeak. She didn't even show any sign of any pain. And the reason behind that is because she knew that her life had changed forever. She completely changed it around for her, and it gave her that incident that could have been a disaster incident for maybe other people. That same disaster incident was actually a blessing for her in disguise, and it really gave her the determination to carry out the mission and to really make a change in the world. She is today an example of what it is to take a positive perspective on a very difficult situation. And thanks to this power of perspective, Malala is today an activist for female education and the youngest Nobel Prize laureate. Lifelong change happens when you realize the power of perspective.